Stevens throws that right kick.
He's setting him up.
Left hook, knee to the upper thigh. And here we go again. Oh, shakalaka again.
But right now he's holding Harry where he wants it.
Harry Webb unloading the assault, the ground and pound. It may be over. It's good night, Irene. The human highlight reel. Winner by knockout, Harry, the human highlight reel.
Human highlight reel. Harry Webb is back on the Food Fight cast. He is now, I believe, 3-0 as a pro, or is it 4-0 as a pro, Harry? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Nah, three.
Three. Soon to be four, mate. Soon to be four, but
Soon to be 4, 5, 6, 7.
yeah, mate, we're here. We're on the train and choo-choo all the way. Yeah, really impressive performance. I was catching up with Frank after the fights. You know, we did a breakdown. We really was, I think, just both really impressed with not only your composure in the cage, but just the whole fight week, seeing you right before you even got into the arena. You had your shades on, you're all dialed in, you walked out, you nailed the walkout, and I don't even know if you really took much of a punch in there. You might have been a couple of leg kicks, but I just remember you being so untouched and just controlling every inch of that fight, bell to bell. He tried to wrestle coming into the second, and then you really just put it on him from there. Like, showed him, if you want to take it here, I can take it anywhere.
Yeah, for sure. I felt really good. I felt like it just felt like I was sparring in there, to be honest. Yeah, it was a good lead up. Although before the fight, if you didn't notice, I didn't actually have John in my corner.
I didn't see him. Yeah.
Yeah, he got crook after the weigh-ins. He was throwing up, and yeah. So then the next day, I hadn't heard from him, and then Jace came and picked me up, and he told me that he was going to go to hospital. So he's all good now. But yeah, it was a bit at the start. I was a little bit nervous, like not having him in the corner. Usually, like he's the one to rub my hands, and you know the lead in the corner there. But I still had Dally, Jace, and Nick in there. Yeah, it was business as usual. Yeah, had fun in there. It was just like I was sparring, like I was saying, and yeah, I was happy with the performance overall. Neem was a tough fighter, and I knew that coming in. But yeah, relatively untouched, which is always good. No damage, so yeah, I was overall pretty happy.
Yeah, the spot they had you in as the feature thing could have been the reason for the way that they were pushing you, but it seemed like you had that extra bit of sauce on you when they were calling you out, calling you the future of MMA and all that kind of stuff. We were talking to Michael Mannu the other day about the way HEX promotes people and the way that they push them, and Sally and I were both so impressed with the way that they sort of pushed the media week leading up to it, and then the fight night itself. Like, we were both so impressed. But how did you feel about the way that they were, pushing you? They seemed to really put the shine on you.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Like, they've gotten behind me so far and promoted me a lot. Like, they come out to Ballarat and filmed that little video that they played before the fight, which was awesome. Yeah, and they promote their fighters really well. They put on an awesome show. Yeah, nothing but good things to say about HEX. I didn't really get a good look at the arena there because it was so dark. Like, in the cage, all I could see was just the cage, and it was just pitch black outside of that. But
yeah,
looking back at the videos and everything afterwards, like the festival hall and the setup everything was awesome.
Yeah, no, it was sick.
Yeah, certainly was, mate. I mean, all the seating was all around the ring. They had the screens up high. Or even in the rafters, like you would have had a good view just into the ring, and not a bad seat in the house really. We had a decent ringside seat right near the walkout, so we let you stay in your zone when you walked out. We gave you a fist bump on the way out. I think correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard you say I want that steak, right?
Yeah, on the way out, yeah, I probably would have said that.
Nah, mate, yeah, it's well deserved, and anytime you want it, absolutely. I've been meaning to make a trip to Ballarat myself. I've got a colleague that's down there, so wouldn't mind seeing him and definitely catch up. I don't know if the steak's is good over in Ballarat, but I'm sure you know some places there.
Oh, yeah, there's a couple of places. I've only actually tried one of the steakhouses, and yeah, it's not bad, but yeah, it doesn't compete with any of the ones I've had in Melbourne. We went to Meat and Wine Co. the next day after the fight, and we got the 930 gram dry aged ribeye. We balled out a bit, but it was so good. It's probably the best steak that I've ever had.
Beautiful.
Maybe recency bias, but yeah, it was good.
Everything tastes better as a winner, right?
Oh, absolutely. And after a fight, when you've been dieting for like 10 weeks, and
Yeah.
yeah, everything's super nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, happy birthday. It was your birthday during fight week. Must have been hard to not eat a carb and kind of just put that to the side.
Yeah, it's the second time that I've had my birthday on fight week. I actually like forgot about it. I completely forgot about it, and the missus reminded me the day before. She goes, "Your birthday tomorrow." I was like, "Yeah, true." Um, and yeah, like I just had to put the celebrations on hold until after the fight, and that's no problem. Like I was locked in, so um, would have been nice to have some cake, but we had water instead.
Yeah, it's looking like, Hex has put out their stuff today as far as like the next events going on in March and stuff. Are you looking that forward that far, or are you just looking to enjoy Chrissy and see what comes?
Yeah, like obviously, I reckon March is a good time for me to come back and have another fight. It's still a decent 4 months.
Yeah.
But yeah, at the moment, just catching up on time spent with family. Still be training in the gym, just obviously different intensity. You have a different sort of mindset when you're in training camp versus outside of camp. And I've pretty much been in camp all year now, so because I had the 4 fights, and yeah, it'd be nice to just get back to doing some regular training and work on skill development and that sort of thing. Instead of just going into the gym every day, killing yourself trying to get fit and ready for these fights. So
Yeah.
yeah, it'd be nice to have a little bit of time to relax and get ready for a big year next year.
Oh, 100%, man. And like you said, well deserved after you said your goal was 3-0 this year, right?
Yeah, at the start of the year, I wrote down that I wanted to have 3 pro fights, and ended up having the 1 amateur at the start of the year, but then made up for lost time and got in another 3 pro fights. So yeah, I was happy, and yeah, let's go next year, probably another 4. So yeah, I'm just ready to keep this ball rolling.
See you, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like the scene in Australia is only growing more and more. Hex is on fire. Eternal's thriving. There's all these other shows coming up back in New South Wales, where I'm originally from, that I keep seeing my ex-teammates on and stuff like that. So, ball's in your court wherever you want to go. I'm sure you're in high demand. I'm sure Hex will want you back on the next one in March, or Eternal probably already calling you saying, "Hey, we got this guy and that guy." But do you have an idea when you want to fight again, and I guess who or what card?
Yeah, March. Whoever and whatever show they want to, whatever offers we get, we'll work that out, and it'll probably be soon. We'll start getting offers, and once we get something locked in, get ready to go. But yeah, I'm looking at March preferably.
Have you always been Australian cards? UK.
Yeah. Hey.
No, sorry, I was talking to Caesar. Yeah, have you always fought in Australia?
Yeah. All my fights have been in Australia. All my fights have been in Melbourne, actually, except for that one on Eternal, which is in Queensland. Yeah. But yeah, I'm happy to travel interstate, and whatever shows. Eternal's good, Hex is good. I'm happy with them all, but obviously there's pros and cons to fighting on each of them. Hex obviously is good because it's in Melbourne. It's a bit closer for me to travel, and but yeah, I'm happy either way.
Yeah, just seeing that promo they ran during Hex for the New Zealand card, I thought there'd be a few people that'd be stinging to get on there.
Yeah, I'd be keen to get on that as well. I think that's for May, so I think it's 8 weeks after their March card, so pretty quick sort of turnaround. But if you come out unscathed, get straight back into camp and get another one. I think I fought Feb and May this year, so yeah, it's sort of on the same sort of timeline that I'm used to anyway.
Yeah, sick.
Awesome. Yeah. I did see your teammate had a good win at Demolition. Did you go watch a card? You supported him? You're in his corner?
Yeah, I wasn't in the corner. We stormed the cage after the win, but yeah, that was his amateur debut, and he's Sam Matheson. His name is. He put in a solid 10-week camp, pretty much same as me. We were in camp together, and he did really well, put in the work. He had 3 opponent changes through the camp, but he stayed unfazed the whole time. He said yes to them all, no hesitation. And the kid that he fought was actually this was his fourth fight, so he was 2-1 coming in. I think a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, and so on paper, like the kid was pretty good, and he only took it on a week's notice. But yeah, Sam, he did really well. I think, you know, a couple of things to work on. Obviously, it's been his first fight, but yeah, I'm super proud of him, and he got the finish in the third round, so it was really good, and a good way for the team to finish off the year.
Yeah, awesome. No, Infinite MMA only getting better and better. You know, your names are up in the lights and on several cards, sort of spread out. It's great to see. I suppose with the 3 opponent changes, he's kind of 4-0 as well at this point. He's climbing up pretty quick. So shout out to Sam. Normally it's the fighter that storms out of the cage and runs amok into the crowd. You boys all stormed into the cage?
Yeah, me and Bailey were sitting there, and we're sort of like right at the front, and like, fuck, should we run in there? And yeah, we just managed to get in there and get around him. But Wayne Carley sort of looked at me and was like, shook his head, but yeah, he's okay. He's not going to do nothing. So
no fines or anything like that.
Nah. If Wayne watches this, he'll probably send me a message. But yeah, shout out Wayne Carl from Demolition.
Yeah, nice, man. Yeah, I always get curious with people like sort of at the level that you're at, right, where you just kind of, you're feeling like, not that you're walking through these guys so well, but the level that you're at, you're obviously performing to a really high level. Is there an element where you don't want to be pushing forward too far, where you feel like you kind of want to get the experience under your belt before you start entertaining the idea of moving up leagues and, you know, jump into the, you know, to the big league?
Yes and no. I think that's what the amateurs are really for. Like, that's where you get your experience. I understand obviously you need the experience because once you get to the UFC, you know, it's straight in the deep end and you're fighting the best of the best. But yeah, I think Australia does a really good job now of the amateur scene. And I did an interview recently with the Fight Wave, and he always mentions it's more like a semi-pro sort of scene in Australia. Like, I feel like the level's pretty high and you get that experience there. You know, like that was my 10th MMA fight. So I know what you're saying. Like, some people sort of take the route and where they get the sort of easier fights in early, but I was straight in the deep end there with the guys that I've been fighting, all tough guys. So it just sort of pushes me up further. And but yeah, I feel ready to keep moving up and keep fighting these tough guys. And you know, if I get into the UFC sooner than later, then that's good. And I feel like my skill set's there. So yeah, I'm just ready to keep going.
Yeah,
love it, man.
Your mindset kind of reminds you of Jack Della. You know, you back your skills. You got all the confidence, and you go out there and you do your thing. You don't hesitate. You don't hold back. You're very much in control of every sort of round, every moment in there. But you'll take whatever comes. You're not like kicking and screaming for a UFC contract yet. You know it's coming. You're kind of just trusting in the process, and I think that's a really powerful thing when you look at your mindset and how that just keeps you in control. And then you look at sort of what happened with I think it was the co-main event, if you take Favola out of the co-main spot, but you had Emrahan going up against Michael Mannu, and Emrahan was going in thinking, I'm going to smash him, talking all that game, and put him in a funeral and all that, and he gassed out pretty quick. He didn't back it up. I don't think that's you. I think you're pretty well rounded. You've got that mindset of kind of like looking at everything that's possible, and you're just growing really nicely. I think that semi-pro kind of thing where you've got that high level of amateur experience, that's just a testament to how you're applying the skill set, I think, against the high level competition.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, even for our training camps, you know, like not much has really changed from when I've gone pro from amateur. Like, we always sort of took our training camps as an amateur really seriously. Put in like I was saying with Sam, like he did pretty much the same camp as me, besides obviously the 5-minute rounds. So I think some people sort of just train like normal, and then they'll just take the amateur fight and, you know, do the weight cut or whatever. But yeah, no, we've always had a real structured program, done our 8 to 10 weeks sort of thing, proper conditioning, diet, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, not really too much has changed in terms of like preparation as well. So I think that having that also gets you ready for the next level. So, just yeah, I can't remember what the question was. Sorry, but I went off on a tangent. But yeah, in terms of talking shit or whatever, like, actually, Nian was a real cool dude, and he was talking to me in the cage, and I was like, it sort of put me off a little bit because I was thinking, like, I got to try hurt this dude right now, but he's like being nice. I don't know if it was like veteran tactics or but I had to stay locked in, and afterwards I was like, fuck, bro, you're a funny cunt. Now we can be mates, and he was like, yeah, you're cool as. So.
Do you remember what he said to you?
What was he saying to you?
Yeah.
He was like, landed a leg kick at the start, and he's like, fuck, that was a nice leg kick, bro. And I was like, fuck, I've only ever had one opponent talk to me, and that was that was my third amateur fight, and this kid, he took me down, and he was like, are you having fun? And it sort of was like, took me by surprise for a bit, and I didn't know what to say, and then I ended up taking him down at the end of the round and like landed a couple of shots, and I was like, are you still having fun? But then that was a sort of different sort of shit talk in the cage, and it was sort of like we were sparring, but he was like having a laugh, and yeah, but it was hard to sort of stay in the zone at the same time. Like, I think I prefer when I had my last opponent, Khan. He wasn't bad, but like in the lead up, he said a couple of things that sort of like, I wouldn't say he got under my skin, but got me a bit more G'd up to get in there and put hands on him. So I think I sort of like that mentality going into a fight rather than the friendly approach.
It's kind of like what we were talking about, right? Like with going through those fights in this zone where it's you can have those types of opponents where it's like, okay, this guy was nice, or I don't really feel like hurting this guy, or this guy's a dickhead and he's like saying whatever. Like, you kind of can get to a point where that's training in itself, right? Where you can start to say, no matter what this dude is saying or doing, whether I'm mates with him or not, I'm still going to be dialed in and see it as somewhat of a learning curve, like with the different types of characters you're going to have.
Yeah, that's it. Like, at the end of the day, you're just going to go in there and fight anyway. And it doesn't change anything. But yeah, obviously it makes it a bit easier to hurt somebody when you're not as fond of them.
Yeah, fucking oath.
It's normally the guys that are losing the fight or taking more hits that start opening their mouth, I think, first.
Yeah.
They try to throw you off and everything. So, yeah, another point, I guess, on the scoreboard for keeping the composure there. Great way to end the year. I mean, Melbourne's entering into a nice warmer period of weather here. You got some holidays coming up, I imagine. Bit of Christmas time with the family. Are they pretty pumped to have you a bit more at home out of fight camp, but maybe more of a happy Harry than a fight camp angry Harry?
Yeah, it's good. Mum and Dad, they like to. I usually go see them for dinner on every Sunday. So when I'm in camp, it's a bit harder. I've got to give them my special requests of what I can and can't eat. So yeah, now they can sort of serve up their good food, and Mum's always got baked stuff there, so I can eat the cakes and whatnot. In terms of Christmas and going away, I don't have any leave left because I took all my leave earlier in the year when I went to Thailand. So pretty much working through, and I'm going to Brisbane for a couple of days over New Year's, so that'll be nice. And then when we get back, just back to business.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't really have anything else, Caesar. We're both just pretty keen to get to the card next year, man. So hopefully you can get on it and feeling fit and feeling confident going into it and have a nice break in between.
Yeah, I'll be ready to go. Not sure what they're gonna offer us in terms of opponents or anything like that. But I saw they put on their story the other day. They were posting who should Harry fight next, and there was a few guys in there that they're high up in the ranks. So they're all challenges that I'm looking forward to taking on, and ready for a big year.
Yeah, awesome, mate. No, you enjoy your Christmas. You obviously deserve a break now. Enjoy that holiday in Brisbane. Send us some pics of whatever it is you're eating. I'm sure there'll be some stuff there that will tickle our fancy. And once you're either in Melbourne or when we're in Ballarat, we'll catch up. We'll take you out for a nice steak, mate.
Absolutely, boys. Thanks for having me on.
No worries,
See you,
mate.
brother. Catch you, dude.
I'll talk soon.
He's got the anaconda choke on us, and Mannu managed to find a way to get back to the top. And here he is. This could be the beginning of the end.
This is not good. Is he going to go now? Hekimoglu's going to...
Neck, he's going to have a shot at that rear naked choke. 45 left on the clock.
Remember, Hekimoglu trained with the Great Khabib.
And considering that he was throwing up after the first round, he didn't get finished.
He did amazing.
To your winner via unanimous points decision, red corner, Michael!
So we're here with Michael Mannu from Dominance MMA, who's looking pretty happy after a great performance in HEX Fight Series a couple of weeks back now, which me and Frankie were both in attendance for. How are you, Michael? How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Great to have you, mate. How's the food been going since then? Have you been eating up a storm?
Yeah,
or straight back to the gym.
Definitely eating up a storm. Rest of the week, I'll hit the gym hard. Like my body's pulled up pretty good from the fight. So yeah, got to get back in the gym now and not get too fat.
I heard that when you were saying I heard an interview that you had afterwards saying that you wanted to stay active. So I wasn't thinking that you were going to blow up too much.
Yeah, I said, well, I think the first HEX next year is in March anyway. And usually like most of the shows, it'll be like, late Feb, early March, sort of the earliest things come around next year. So there is a bit of time, but I definitely want to be in the gym, just building the skills still, and be fit and have my weight good going into next year.
Awesome, mate. No, you had a hell of a fight camp there. There was a lot of trash talk and all that. You're probably sick of talking about all that, but I was really impressed with your performance throughout the whole fight, off the back of what was quite a heated build-up. He was obviously trying to get in your head and say things like, preparing for Michael Mannu's funeral. It clearly wasn't the case, and it was probably his funeral more than yours. But how does that feel, sort of being done with that and just really putting a stamp on that performance, winning every round unanimously? Is that must be satisfying?
Yeah, it is super satisfying. I'm always very critical of my performance, and part of me is kicking myself. I didn't ramp it up just a little bit extra and got the finish. But aside from that, I'm happy with the performance. I'm glad it went sort of over 3 rounds and people could see me sort of dominate and break him. I'd rather that than get, a first round finish. But if I could get a finish late in the fight, which I think I could have done, it would have been just a little bit better. But yeah, definitely very satisfied with the performance still, and just my sort of composure as well, showing people none of that got to me, none of the lead up didn't scare me, didn't make me fight emotionally either, and I think it's sort of good practice, and I like what HEX is doing, with the press conference, with all this media stuff, because it makes it feel a bit more like the prep, kind of like the UFC, there's going to be media things I'm going to have to do in weight cut week, in the UFC. There's even more media stuff than we did in HEX, you know what I mean? So I think it's good practice for the fighters to sort of get that exposure, get that experience.
Yeah, it's good you touched on that, man. It was actually something that me and Saleh spoke about after the event. It was the first HEX I've been to. We've been to a bunch of regional ones, promotions around Australia before, but something that HEX really stood out to me was that it was just that level up as far as production quality, the way that they were pumping through fight week and actually putting out content and stuff. So it was cool that that you noticed that as well, that's something that they're doing and that you're getting comfortable with it for when you do hit the big stage.
For sure. And then, of course, just for me and the other fighters, just the attention it brings to us as well. It's definitely good in that regard as well. But yeah. I was really seeing it as sort of, if I'm trying to get, the big shows, UFC, that sort of thing, there's going to be heaps of media stuff, and sometimes I'm not, not going to want to do it either. But, you're going to have to do it. You're going to be there. You're going to see your opponent face to face. Usually it's only the weigh-in, really. You see him like the night before the fights. But this is kind of cool, you know,
Yeah.
seeing him a few days earlier and just getting a feel for like how he is and what he's trying to do. And yeah, it's like a bit more sort of psychological warfare going into the build-up.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys work so hard, put so much into each and every camp, you know, and you've got teammates, you've got friends and family supporting you. It probably helps to start enjoying some of this a bit more. And HEX does a good job of not just, you know, asking you guys to do this media and stuff like that, but really giving it back to you and promoting, you know, Michael Mannu as a fighter and really putting on a good show on the night so that the clips are all there, the fight, you know, catalog starts to grow, and you guys get to walk away with something more than just another fight on the record. It's really building you for the big show, and I think that's probably a testament to HEX growing into a big show. You know, we've got Eternal MMA, which is probably the biggest in Australia outside of when the UFC does come here. And we've had a lot of things over the years. There's been things like Titan, Minotaur, and Brace, and you know, some of them aren't around today, but HEX seems to be, you know, very well respected, and every fighter that we've spoken to on the night and afterwards has spoken really highly of them. You seem pretty proud to fight on their cards and looking forward to March as your next fight on the card as well.
Yeah, it's been good fighting on HEX. I've fought with them, yeah, I think three times now, and definitely this year, like since Jacob's taken over, I think he's doing a really good job. Yeah, with HEX. Like I fought on shows like Eternal as well. Eternal's very, very good. They look after you well. You know, like I'm not against fighting on any show next year. Like the main thing is to stay active. If I can get on all the HEXs, it'll be good because, well, I know they go in New Zealand, but you know they come to Melbourne, and Eternal doesn't come to Melbourne. But yeah, like it's good. HEX, yeah, they're definitely doing really good this year. Eternal's, you know, doing awesome as well. There's a lot of good shows in Australia, and you just see as well, like, you know, HEX champions, Eternal champions going on to the UFC, and they always do well there as well. The guys we've had in there recently, they've just, you know, been having runs. You look at Jack Della, and you know, it's people going in and they're winning. It's not like win lose, you know, and then get cut. So I think it's a testament to what so the regional levels like in Australia and what like these shows are putting together.
Yeah, I mean, I heard you talking about the start that you had as well, like building this sort of resume, like to get you to that point where you feel comfortable at any point moving into whatever promotion or whatever, at any opportunity that comes at you. Part that resonated with me, what you said was, I think it was your first 4 fights that you said that it was just like early finish. That it was like you kind of got into a point where you were thinking, like you hadn't felt like you'd even been in a fight yet because you were doing so well so early. So do you think that experience helped you in your last fight, in your last win?
Yeah, I think, so yeah, what I was saying there is I had, you know, some amateurs, all like finishes, pretty like cruisy fights. Pre-debut was an early finish as well. And that's what Emrahan's sort of, when I look at his fight footage, when I looked at his resume, that it kind of reminded me of my like late amateurs, early pro stage. And you see it as well, even in the UFC. Like sometimes people, they get in, they haven't actually fought yet. You know, they're 10-0 and they've TKO'd like, you know, 10 people in the first round. But you get to a level where once, you know, you go for what you go for, and usually, you know, it works and you win, and then that doesn't work. And if, you know, you haven't experienced that before, it's a real like eye-opening experience, and stuff like that you only really learn in the fight. You know, it's hard to learn that stuff in training. So when I saw sort of his footage and saw his record, it just reminded me of where I was at, and I knew, you know, he's going to come out hard because he does all his fights. But I wouldn't be surprised if he starts like gassing and starts like sort of mentally fading when he realizes he can't just run through me like he's done to his previous opponents. And I think that's what we saw happen in the fight as well.
Yeah. I was saying to Frank, you know, when you talk all this talk and you say you're going to finish your opponent in the first round, and you keep doing that for weeks and weeks, you start to believe that that's going to happen, and you start to not even foresee an alternate universe where it doesn't happen. And we've seen that happen with like Khamzat Chimaev in the UFC. You know, he talks so confidently about that, but when someone like a Kamaru Usman with all that experience takes him into later rounds, he doesn't look as comfortable as he normally does. So
yeah, for sure.
You know, it's a testament to probably your mental game and being so strong and just, you know, seeing it as a 15 minute fight, and knowing that deep waters is where you're likely going to end up, and being really prepared for that. It kind of makes me think of back when you were in lockdown. I had a bit of a look at your Instagram earlier and saw that, you know, you were posting about staying active and really keen to get back into, you know, the fight game after the lockdowns happen, after COVID and all that. And you can really see, like, you've been in the game since like 2015, 8 years now. And this has always been a long game for you, and you're not trying to rush this. And you're probably now at that point where you've got all these lessons from all these fights, all these different experiences, all these different promotions. You fought on something called ACB, which I didn't even know about, which I think is based out of Moscow or something like that in Brisbane when they came here and did a show. But I mean, that's all the kind of experience that we see on these guys from the ANZ region going to the UFC. How do you feel like, you know, if you were to go over to the UFC tomorrow, like, how do you feel you'd be ready for that? Is that something you want? Are you keen to get over internationally like that?
Yeah, so like next year, if I can get in the UFC, like, that's awesome. That's why I want to be active next year, get 4 or 5 fights. And I think somewhere along the way, you know, just take it a fight at a time, get the win, put a good performance on. And, you know, I think it's very realistic I can get in there next year. So I'm just trying to have a proper run at this sport now. Be active, fight every 3 months, and yeah, see if I can make it in the UFC. I think where my skills are now, like, they're at that level. Part of fighting as well, it's hard to bring, you know, all your skills out you have in the training room, you know, into the fights. I think with my skill set, I could do very well in the UFC. But I need to, you know, keep working on bringing the skills out. And I think being active, and, you know, fighting 4 times a year helps you build that skill as well. Just being able to bring out all your skills, what you're able to do into the fight under the pressure. So just want to keep working on that. I feel there was a year layoff between. I fought August last year, and then I didn't fight for a year, and then I fought August this year. And that fight, I felt I didn't really feel too good in there. I was like happy I got the win, but wasn't too happy with my performance. This fight, I performed a lot better. I did a lot more, you know, showed a lot more skills. But, you know, I'm still thinking, you know, I could have done more. I could have gotten the finish on the feet, could have gotten the finish on the ground. So, like, just being critical of my performances and just trying to bring all my skills out. And I think if I can bring all my skills out, or you know, or be like solid UFC level.
Well, just talking to the UFC, I like to play a bit of matchmaker as well. Like, if I was a fighter, or if I was in your shoes, I like to think of, you know, sort of dream matchups that you could possibly be having. I know you probably don't want to think too far ahead, but is there anyone that you would like to fight, or think that you would favor yourself well against if you were to get an opening matchup in the UFC?
Man, I'm not too sure, because I don't. I'm a bit of a casual. Like, I don't know. I know the top guys. That's it. And I'm not gonna say. And I'm not gonna lie to you and say I'd.
Yeah.
To handle the top guy. But I'm sure I'll do well on, you know, versus a lot of the guys there.
We'll get him in there with an Eddie Wineland type character. I reckon. Hype the
Yeah,
bush
get me on
slush.
someone. Get me with someone on the way out.
Yeah, there you go, mate. Nah, that's good. I was trying to work out your ethnicity, your background as well. Could you talk to us about like I don't know, your family, your parents, like growing up? Imagine they're pretty supportive of the whole thing now at this point. You've been 8 years in the game, but
Yeah.
yeah, what's your family like?
So yeah, my dad was born here, but his side of the family is from Macedonia, and then mum is Maltese. So mum's Maltese. She moved here when she was a kid, and yeah, I've lived in Melbourne my whole life. Yeah, it's pretty, I guess, interesting mix, like Macedonian, Maltese. It's a shame Volk is a champ. I could have been first, like Macedonian, Australian champ, but he's taken both. You know, he's taken both from me.
Yeah, no.
Even for people that don't fight, like taking inspiration from Volk, like I take inspiration from Volk just in my everyday life. Like, what is it like to have someone like Volk as, you know, I'm guessing he's someone that you look up to.
Yeah, like Volk's a man. Like, even this fight, like my camp was good. And definitely, you know, fighting in August, I was already kind of fit from then as well. But there was like, I know a lot of people were getting sick, and I got like a real bad flu for like 2 weeks at the start of camp, and I was thinking like, you know, like this isn't ideal. I wanted to already be training hard at this point, and I've basically been in bed for 2 weeks. And it was around that time, Volk just took the fight versus Islam on like 10 days notice or whatever he did. And I was thinking like, you know, if Volk's taking a fight like this, you know, and he's got the courage to do that, then, you know, I've got nothing to stress about just losing like 2 weeks out of my training camp. You know what I mean? It like pales in comparison to what he was doing, stepping up for that fight. So just things like that. And, you know, is just such a like a workhorse as well, and it's kind of underrated for a long time. It was kind of under the radar. Even when he was champ, he was kind of getting overshadowed by Holloway for a bit.
Yeah.
And you know, now he's really just undeniable. Like, is a consensus GOAT for, you know, for quite a while. So just yeah, how he puts his head down and just gets to work. Even if he doesn't get all the credit he deserves, eventually, you know, you do get the credit you deserve. So, just yeah, a lot of respect for him for that, and yeah, just really look up to him because of that.
Yeah, he's an absolute legend. I mean, he's done so much, and he's 35 years old. Like, you know, if he hung it up tomorrow, he's greatest featherweight of all time in my books, anyway.
Yeah.
And he's always staying busy, like you said, whether he's fighting or not. He's staying busy outside. He's doing enough media. You know, the guy loves food, which is definitely good for us as well. He's got his whole Cooking with Volk channel, which tune into every now and then, and love to see him cooking, even if it's with his just fight dietitian, and talk to us about his weight cut and all that. I imagine you got some pretty good food on the horizon with a Maltese Christmas coming.
Yeah, just go to lunch with my family, and yeah, mainly Maltese food. And just lots of just sweets and stuff as well. So I got a massive sweet tooth. I've had a lot of fighters after the fight.
You timed it well then.
You know, they go out, celebrate and drink and party, all that. I just like want to eat cake and good food. that's what I do after my fight. I just chill out with my friends and just eat good food.
Well, if you got any plugs or anything that you want anyone to be knowing about Michael Mannu and his next fight, what would you want to be telling anyone? Yeah,
tune in. Like, I'm well rounded. Take the fight on the feet, on the ground, and I'll just be looking for the finish as well this next fight. So, and the full skills will be on display. Follow me Instagram as well, Michael Mannu _MMA.
Yeah.
That's it. Don't follow the Facebook. Sometimes people will like tag it. Sometimes people will follow it. It still says I'm like 23 on there, and like now I'm 27. I just haven't been on it in ages. I just use the Instagram. I don't think anyone uses Facebook these days. Anyway.
No.
no one cool anyway, but
Yeah.
that's all good. No, mate, like, look, after seeing you in person, I mean, we know full well now from firsthand experience that you've got all the skills. You got what it takes. You're right in the prime of your career. So myself and Frank are looking forward to going to that HEX card in New Zealand next year. Hope to see you on it, and we'll be there ringside. We'll grab you for a slice of cake afterwards, mate. We'll take you out for
100%.
something sweet. How's that sound?
Yeah, sounds awesome.
Awesome, mate. It's great to chat with you, Michael. We'll look forward to catching up with you in the future.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks, fellas. Thanks for having me on. Hopefully see you guys at the next show.
Thanks,
No
brother.
worries, mate.
Bye.
In Melbourne, Australia, Michael Chevelle.
Look how hard he's working that cradle. He's going to try and come up on top. Man, Jonathan is super strong, trust me. I've shared the training room with Jono many times.
And throw, however, punt kick, counter from Micallef, backs him off. Left hand again.
To your winner via unanimous points decision, and new HEX Undisputed Welterweight Champion, Jono Micallef!
I'm here with Jono, the captain, Micallef, from Combat One MMA, trained by the great Sam Haywood. He's now the HEX Welterweight Champion. How's it feel, Jono? How you been?
Yeah, it feels incredible, brother. I've been really good. Been indulging a little bit, enjoying off. But it feels great, feel validated.
Yeah, mate. Oh, mate, I got to tell you, you went 25 solid minutes with a real tough opponent in Joe Luciano, and it was a great fight. Like, I was sitting ringside with Frank, who's also from the Food Fight cast. Unfortunately, can't make it today, but we were both just blown away with, I think, your ability to just control the fight each round and just continuing to kind of get better and show new things. It was probably one of the best fights, I think, in your pro career where you've actually got to show a lot more of what you're about, because your first three fights were all finishes. The last two have been decisions, but this was main event for the title, really, really tough opponent. And, after maybe a close contested round in the first, you just downloaded and took over from there. I had you 50-45 on the scorecard. But yeah, how does it feel to go 25 tough minutes, tough opponent? How did you sort of walk away from that, I guess, feeling how you improved?
Well, it's funny, actually, because that fight, that whole 25 minutes, I think that's like 60 or 70% of my entire pro career, So when you dial it down to 25 minutes, so in a way, it was sort of like me being able to show what I was really capable of, being given a little bit more time. And the other thing is, I always knew, or I sort of believed, that I could go 25 minutes and that would work in my favour. I think that I'm really well suited to those longer fights. But thinking it and then going out and doing it are two completely different things, and it really gives you confidence now knowing that you can do it. You can do it in a training room, 100,000 times and go do some hard 25-minute rounds of, or 25-minute sessions. But going 5 rounds in the cage definitely felt good, It was just felt really composed, and picked my way through him.
Yeah, really impressive stuff, man. I got to say, HEX put on a great show. That's one thing that really dawned on me through the whole night. They had a great production. They had screens around the whole sort of arena. Wherever you were sitting, you could see all the action. Even in that sort of top rafters festival hall, you could see into the cage if you were sitting there. The walkouts were done really well. They had good timing on getting you guys out and then getting you guys sort of to do the post-fight interviews. So just taking all that in, I guess, they're really backing the fighters and giving you guys a real good springboard into, growing your brand, maybe getting noticed by the big dogs internationally. I know, you called out Sean Shelby at the end of the fight to kind of get yourself knocking on that door of the UFC. But talk to me a bit about HEX and your relationship with them. I know you fought at Demolition, and I guess you kept things local at the moment. I don't think you've been interstate or even anywhere overseas yet. But yeah, how do you feel about HEX and everything there?
Yeah, HEX are. I've fought for HEX, I think, 4 times now, and they're a phenomenal promotion. They really look after their guys. Yeah, and Jacob's cool. He's awesome to work with. They've and they make it easy. You know, they let everyone know for fight week what they expect from us. Everything's all in line. And yeah, so it's perfect. You know, now that they're given the opportunity to potentially fight overseas, being in Auckland, which would be a really good experience. Because it's cool. I felt from HEX from the start, slowly building my way into them, and they bring more challenging fights. And now they sort of have shown a bit more media now that so you sort of get the feel of the UFC, with the media presence there. And then now potentially going to Auckland, you sort of get a trial of flying, which I haven't experienced yet. So it'll be really good to fight over there. Nothing's booked in just yet, but. Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose that's maybe one missing cog from your experience wheelhouse is that international sort of fight, or even going interstate, just on the road a bit, feeling what that's like to be, I guess, not sleeping in your own bed and driving down the road out of Laverton to the ring. But yeah, Auckland, that'd be a sick card. I'd love to get there myself. I mean, dialing it back to, I guess, maybe taking it back maybe a couple of fights or so, I think everyone was talking about how you were Combat One's sort of best kept secret. I've heard that mentioned in a few interviews as well, but I'd say the secret's pretty much out now. You're the HEX Welterweight Champion. Everyone's starting to see your skill set. I'm sure there's some people maybe turning fights down coming up maybe, so you might get a bit tougher to find an opponent, but we know you're the Welterweight Champion. My question is, are you the best fisherman in HEX?
There's absolutely no doubt, not in just HEX, but in Australian MMA and New Zealand. I'll take it, mate. I would 100% take that.
Yeah,
that's another belt.
Yeah, I think you got the two Fs and fighting. You got the family, the fishing, and obviously the fighting. I guess that's the three Fs. What are we talking about here? But yeah, talk to me about your fishing. Like, how'd you get into that? Is that a family thing? Does that go a bit back then? I see you love your food as well, so. Wondering if you take a bit of the fish back into the kitchen, Mama cooks it up. What's the go there?
Yeah, absolutely. I've actually been fishing for a really long time. Growing up, my old man's Maltese, and I don't know if you know many of the old wogs, but hunting, fishing, be part of our life. So whenever they get a chance to leave the house and go do that, that was what we did. But the missus or my mum would always hustle my dad to make sure he takes the kids, and with him we went, and that's how the passion sort of grew for fishing and hunting and all that sort of stuff, and it just sort of goes hand in hand with fighting for me. So fishing, fighting, family.
There's one more F there, but we'll leave that one to another time. Maybe over a beer we can talk about that one. But the fishing, mate. I'm part Maltese myself on my grandfather's side and mum's side, so food is massive for us.
Awesome.
She's Italian, dad's French. I know all about it. I've grown up eating everything under the sun. Probably a bit too much of a spoiled son though, and do a lot more eating than cooking. But won't say no to that. Do you have any favourite fishing spots around Melbourne, or even, I guess, if we talk about Australia as a whole, since you're Mr. Worldwide?
Yeah, I definitely do, but they're my secret spots, mate. I can't be telling people. Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like local ones. We don't have to travel too far. Williamstown, just down the road, where you can go have a flick and then still make it in time for training. But on the weekends, sometimes I head down to Lawn, just off the rocks. It's beautiful. You get the scenery as well as the fish. So that's always a plus when you really get to recharge the battery and relax a little bit.
Yeah. Absolutely. Shout out to Jackie, I guess, your wife as well. I'm sure she helps with a lot of the cooking and a lot of the fight camp and maybe some of the weight cut meal prep. How long have you guys been married for?
I only just got married February of this year.
Oh, congrats.
Not even a year yet, but I'd met her probably going back about 4 or 5 years now. And she's incredible, man. Like, since we first met, it was sort of fighting was a big part of my life at that stage. And I told her, this is sort of my passion, it's the one thing that gives me purpose. And she was like, absolutely, I'll never get in the way of that. And from then I sort of knew, she's the one. And, 4 or 5 years down the track, well, here we are living together. She's a massive part of camps and keeping me sane. She pulls me back sometimes. Other times she gives me the extra energy I need. And without her, I really don't know if I would be in this position that I'm in. She's honestly incredible.
Yeah.
A big
That's amazing. I mean, it's really interesting to, I guess, see a fighter that's 24 years old. He's just gotten married. He's been with his life partner for some time. Seems to be a bit of a soulmate there. I mean, if you look at a lot of the fighters that have done so good in the UFC, they've had a relationship for so long. Like, you want to talk about Conor McGregor? He's been with Dee Devlin for ages. I don't know, like pretty much his whole adult life, and she's just been there to support him through the ups, the downs. I guess Jackie's your ride or die there, and it's just probably helps you stay focused and grounded. Would you say?
100%. You probably said it better than I ever could. Yeah, focused and grounded is a great way because, yeah, her taking my worries of cleaning and cooking and all that sort of stuff just keeps me focused and eyes on the prize, especially when I'm in camp.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so much I guess garbage out there and bad people that can probably try to pull you away from fighting or distract you in other ways. And she'll just, if she's worth her salt, she'll keep you sort of eye on the prize and everything. And there's only upwards from here with her. So that's amazing, man. I'm really happy for you to be married. Did you manage to go on a honeymoon yet, or are you just too busy fighting?
No, we did. So that's why I hadn't fought, I think, until I don't even remember. It may have been April of this year. So I sort of missed that first HEX card of the year. But yeah, we did. We went away on a cruise. It was good. Got some fishing in then too, and also got to spend some quality time with her.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was.
How long till we see Mini Micallef running around?
Question. Look, it's a great question. We're not trying, but I think that there may be a better time, once I do potentially get that shot, you know what I mean? But who knows? Maybe 9 months from now, maybe a year, maybe 2.
Yeah. No pressure, mate. I'm sure it'll just add motivation whenever it happens. Time will sort of take care of itself. That's awesome, mate. Going back to the fight, I think Joseph, he brought a lot out of you. You seem to sort of break him after that first round and just continue to break him. Like, I almost think you could have gotten the finish, but at the same time, I think you got so much out of just being a bit more tactical. You probably got a lot out of just staying defensively sound, not taking risks, not gassing yourself, testing that gas tank. Talk to me about the corner work from the likes of Sam Haywood and sort of keeping you, I guess, composed. I've heard that he's got a lot of energy. He's got a lot to say. But yeah, talk to me about how you sort of approach round by round and what was going through your mind as the rounds went on.
Yeah. Well, leading up to this fight, Sam actually does, this fight and every other fight we've ever had, Sam does a lot of mental work beforehand. So we sort of already knew if the fight goes this way, this is what we're planning on doing and so on and so forth. So when it did come to it, I was already mentally prepared for that situation. And maybe I should have pushed a little bit harder. And there were times where in the corner, you actually got to see it where Sam would tell me the game plan and get me to repeat it to him. And I would repeat it, but I wouldn't quite enact it as well as I should have in terms of the game plan. But yeah, Sam, he's phenomenal, and I think I owe all of it to him. He sort of like has cultivated my passion for the sport, and he just has so much passion for MMA, and he brings it onto us, and gets us to shine. And yeah.
I suppose, he's used to being a PE teacher, so he brings that experience of I assume it's in school, so teaching kids, and you're 24 years young, so still probably a kid at heart in some ways, and I'm sure he just keeps guiding you and keeps getting you better at your craft.
Yeah, 100%, and yeah, he does. Although I am very young, I think that I'm quite mature for my age, but Sam sort of just, he grabs a stick every now and then and puts it back to straight and, keeps me on the road. Yeah.
No, that's great, mate. What do you do when you're not fighting? I think I've seen on your Instagram, bit of a tradie. I know you got brick by brick sort of written there. Is there some hands-on work that you're doing as well?
Yeah, there is. So I also work for my old man doing bathroom and kitchen renovations. So I've been working less now, so I only do 3 full days, and then the rest I'm training. So I'm slowly starting to get out of the, the trade.
Brick by brick getting out.
Boat brick getting out. Yeah, that's it. At the same sort of when I'm outside of camp, try and make it up to him because he's been so flexible and allowed me to follow my passion. So I at the same time need to help the old man and knuckle down, lay some more bricks by brick at a time. And
so one day you'll build him a house, whether it's by your own hands or by your prize money. I'm sure you'll pay it forward.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's the dream, and that's and one of the main drivers for me is like I'm one of 9, so there's 8 other ones of me running around. Retire my old man and be able to sit him in a nice house one day, and he doesn't have to work and break his back. And he's really worked hard for all of us kids.
Where do you fit within the 1 to 9? Are you the eldest, youngest?
I'm the 4th, so I'm just the one above the middle.
Oh no, you must be one of the annoying ones.
Yeah, absolutely. We're all bloody annoying. I'll tell you that much. We are. Yeah, but I think that's another reason why I had to be so mature is because I'm sort of one of the older ones. So I've had to be a big brother and sometimes caretaker for my other little siblings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm one of 3 and I'm the youngest, and I got 2 older sisters, and I'd say my middle sister had to do a lot of the fighting because you kind of get bullied being in the middle. You kind of get sandwiched between the eldest and the youngest. I don't know. We kind of ganged up on her. Love her to death, but I think you should probably copped your fair share of knocks verbally and physically from the others.
Hey, it was like a pressure cooker, all of us. Sometimes we'd me and my older brother would have our 2 younger brothers, and we'd make them fight. We'd sort of coach them, and then we'd all just get beaten for it, and we'd do it all.
Yeah,
the old wooden. Yeah, yeah, it's great.
It's all love, always fair in love and war and all that. It's amazing. What about your siblings? Are they fighters themselves at all? Any other fighters in the family?
Yeah, so I think he'd be the 6th in the family. He started this year, and in the time that he's just started, he's really sort of taken off. Also training under Sam Hayward at Combat One. He's only just had a couple novice fights, but he's really found a passion. He's had a lot of success early. So if he continues along the path, you could definitely see him soon in the amateur, probably early to mid next year. But I try not to push them because then I become the blame for more family. And he also works with my old man, so it's us 3. And 2 of the workers that work for him have a big passion for fighting, which is funny.
That's great. Yeah, you can't take another man off the tools. Your dad will go out of business.
Yeah, hopefully I'll retire.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Does Jackie have a sister for your brother? Keep him grounded?
Fortunately not. She's so he does have misses. So
yeah. Oh, that's all right. That's all good, mate. Yeah, awesome. So, what's next for you? How soon can we see you back in the cage? I imagine you said you were indulging. Let's talk about that. What have you been eating since you? I think the first thing I saw, mate, when you had finished a fight, might have been the next day. You're in the kitchen, and it looked like a stew was going on. Talk to me. What was going on there?
Well, leading up to fight week, we were having steak. For you have no salt and stuff, and it was all your boring food. But when I went to the butcher to grab a steak, I saw there was a beautiful leg of lamb roast, and I thought, oh, you know what, I'll grab it. And if Jackie ends up cooking something, and I just buzzing with energy, wake up in the morning, couldn't sleep, and I just thought, you know what, I'll start cooking this. It's got to be on for 12 hours. I've made some of the best lamb souvlaki's you've ever had.
It looked unreal. I imagine since then you've probably had some sweets as well. You got much of a sweet tooth? I'm much more of a savoury guy, but I don't mind an odd cake here or there.
Yeah, an odd cake here or there I definitely like, especially when the missus is making it, but I'm definitely a savoury guy. So when I'm in fight camp, the missus sort of makes, your boring chicken and broccoli, but then a great pasta and lasagna and, pasta, bacon, all of the above. So I just get her to do her thing in the kitchen, and I just sort of go a little bit crazy for a couple of weeks. But yeah, in terms of seeing me back in there, I'm definitely ready. I'm 100% keen to start the year with the bang. I think that there's a card in March and in May. I would like perfect for me would be to get in March, but we'll see. I'll see what the guys come up with. I sort of still just waiting for something solid to come back, because everyone's been saying, you know, Matt Vale with that team, and I will take that fight if it does proceed. I haven't heard anything just yet, but 2024, going to start with a bang and, you know, defend the title and hopefully get signed by the end of the year. So, yeah, I'm just going to hit the ground running and keep the momentum that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can see that path where you go in and fight in March, come out unscathed, you know, God willing, and you're fighting in the Auckland card maybe. And then by the end of the year, it's either Contender Series kind of springboard into the UFC, or it's straight in. I mean, they love this market. They're going to come back here obviously next year. We've still got Volk defending featherweight most likely. You know, we've got a lot of fighters just across ANZ that are just super popular. There's no doubt they're going to come here, and they're probably going to want to show some new talent. And I think, you know, you're doing everything right. Yeah, you're 24 years old, but honestly, there's younger fighters that have had less experience than you that are getting in the likes of the UFC. And I think the pro circuit here is very, very high level, but it's our amateur circuit as well, which is really up there. And anyone that goes through that and has a fair amount of fights above, like, say, 5 fights, which probably about 10 fights now or close to that, I'd say is really, really well tested. I guess now that you've got that main event sort of slot, you're doing the 25s, you're defending titles, you know, HEX is giving you that media promotion. Would love to see you on that Auckland card to get you on the road and see how that all feels. But yeah, I think there's a really good path for you to just continue what you're doing, and it's obviously working, and you'll get that call up from the likes of a Sean Shelby.
Yeah, well, that's the plan, brother. If you take a look at Tom Nolan, I think he was 5-0 when he got the shot at Contender Series. I think the only difference between me and him is that he's had a lot of nice, flashy finishes, which I haven't quite had in my last few fights at the top level. But, you know, given a couple more fights, finishes or not, I think that they will look to take me on, especially having such a young guy that shows so much composure. And they will notice that with every fight, I'm just going to keep getting better and better. So, you know, hopefully they notice me sooner rather than later. But until then, you know, I'll just, you know, keep nose to the grindstone and keep developing my skills and myself as a fighter.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm sure you'll get noticed. And on that note, I've noticed that you got Platinum One behind you as a management company. Have they got any affiliation to Combat One MMA? I'm not sure I know too much about them, but yeah, talk to me about who you work with over there and what that's like.
Yeah, so I work with Justin Ayer. He started the company. Absolute legend. I actually met him. So we are Combat One is an affiliate of Australian Elite Team, who I have to give to as well. Some of the best grapplers that you're ever going to see in the country. Australian Elite Team, run by Ninos Stanimos, he's incredible, you know, and there's really no other coaches like him, to be honest, in terms of jiu-jitsu and a life coach, you know, just a great person all around, especially all the boys. But I met Justin through Australian Elite Team, and he's sort of taken me under his wing and you know, looked after me in so many ways on and off the mats, financially as well, allowing me to work less. Yeah, Platinum One, sort of still early stages, but you're definitely going to leave their mark by the time it's done.
Yeah, fantastic, mate. Well, we know the captain's got all the support behind him. He's got Sam Haywood out of Combat MMA. He's got Platinum One. He's got the great Jono Micallef cooking his meals and cleaning and taking care of him. His parents are behind him brick by brick, and really keen to see what you've got in store for us, mate, in the next year. I think for now, you go enjoy your Christmas with your family and have some more stew, have some more cake, whatever you want, mate. It's yours. You know, enjoy this time while you've got it, because next year's going to be huge.
That's it, brother. 100%. Yeah.
See you, mate.
Thank you so much for having me. See you later, mate.